So this AS400, the good thing, I'll compare it with Java, basically, right? Python and all are like not that much comparable. So Java, as everyone is aware of it, and you would have been also like have some of the knowledge of Java when you were in college, right?
No, actually, no.
Okay, so you don't have any the knowledge from the what is Java, right? What Java is
It's a,
a
I know
computer
it's a
language kind of thing.
programming language. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm. So
Uh,
it's the file has been created, how the
like
like how the basics of any computer language, how to distinguish, uh, like to divide any language into like the subcategories. Okay,
no,
I'll tell you.
I, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
So
I only learned Python that too from
mhm,
college
got
days,
it, got it.
and yeah.
Okay. So the thing is, everything in Java is a file. Okay. So in Java, generally, I'll say for C, C++ or anything, U is a freeware thing, right? Okay,
Mm,
you just have to learn the syntax. You can open your Notepad plus plus. You can write the code there, and then you can directly execute that in your web browser. Okay, so you mean to say that Java is freeware? All the functionality of Java, you don't have to buy anything for Java, but to perform to write any code for AS400, which I'll use the word AS400 or IBMI, both are similar. So in the today's market, we use the word IBMI. Okay,
okay.
so for IBMI, you cannot do it in Notepad. So this green screen, you will be coding here. So whatever you are coding, that is already you are doing in one server. Okay, that's the major difference between Java and any other programming language and this AS400. Okay, hope you got it.
Yeah. So in AS400, we're directly working in a server
In a
instead of
server.
a
Yes,
notepad
yes.
or files.
So whatever you are writing, like this
Mm,
framework, which allows you to write, like whatever I'm doing, it's already a software, right?
mm-hmm.
Which I'm Yeah, we are already like there's a framework which we call it as, right, which allows us to use a software. A framework, which means like let's suppose this Windows, we have the Windows, right? So some space has been used by this window so that we can perform some activities, right? This is what we called as a framework of any Windows. In the C drive, we have a lot of things, right? The paint and the processors which it will be using and those all things. So uh, just like that, for AS400 also, this is a framework where we will do our coding.
Okay.
Okay. So apart from that, so because of that only, we have to, this is a much costlier version of computer programming language. Okay. And the cost is around, like you'll not believe, it's like 2.5 lakhs for a month, which is a charge for doing the setup of IBMI for a user. Okay, if this I would have used the licensed version of IBMI, I have to pay like 2.5 lakhs per month as a rent fee, and that too it's a server. If you'll say, like, because right now we how the technology is evolving, we are moving everything to a cloud. Like we save our photos in Google Drive, right? Which is the space is there in cloud, so everything is been accessed from everywhere. You don't need to uh, like uh,
Do it in a server anymore.
Yes, you don't need to use any server, and you don't have to set up any server in any physical location, and you don't have to worry about the power and the all the manual and the human errors which can be done to that. So that's why we use cloud. So the cloud is costing just double of it. That's near about 5 lakhs per month for a user. Right? If I'm a developer, I have to use it. I have to pay 5 lakhs. but company are paying it because major banks are using this AS400. Major banks are using, and you'll believe that you'll not believe this. All the casinos, okay, is
Mm-hmm.
using this AS400 only for developing the software because because it's costlier, no one can afford it, and because it's been secured by IBMI. Like whatever I'll be writing it here, no one can from outside can access this because everything is in server and uh, it has been managed by IBM. It's not a freeware. That's why it's very hard to crack this system or hack this system. So because of this, all the financial thing, the major financial thing, which is a bank and the insurance sector, are using this AS400. So that is a like the good thing about this AS400. But the thing is, right? This was the this is a pretty much older technology, and in Java we have a lot of UIs. So that's why uh, some of the functionality that like the front end, it has been used by like we are sending this from AS400, the display menus we have, we combine it with other Angular JS or like advanced HTML and CVV. So through that we combine this AS400. In that way, like our feel and look of the software has increased. So that's how we operate in the market. I'm just giving you the information so that you should also be aware of it. Hope you got it till this point.
Yeah, you're saying it is a secure network. Banks and casinos are using it.
Mhm.
And for the front end, we are using some kind of Angular or something to make it
Yeah, Angular
easy to
JS,
use.
yeah, HTML,
Yeah,
advanced HTML, those kind of thing.
yeah. But I mean, a developer have to use those Angular and those things on regular basis,
No, no,
or
no, 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 no. So the thing is, there is a different team
hmm,
who develop it, and we do like we give them the information. So we are just like bounded till AS400. What the things which will be doing in the screen only. We are not like it's
I
not
got it.
required that the AS400 guy should be knowing the AngularJS, those kind of. It's an added advantage.
Hmm.
Like in the some of the companies they have the Java also, so we can combine Java also with AS400, C++ also with AS400. So it can be the case that the majority, because it's a very fast, this AS400 very fast. So the major development is been done in AS400 and some other modules which keep on changing and as per the architect and the requirement, they develop some of the modules. Modules seem to say the blocks. Like there is a major bank, there can be a loan section, there can be a saving account, there can be FD accounts. So those kind of different zone can be there. So generally zone we call is a module. Module means it's independently handling a particular functionality. So those we called as it as module. In this I'm just giving you the how this IT uh, people are talking in the day-to-day life. Hope you got it.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So all this so for your information, this AS400 can be combined with other languages also, Java, C++, AS400, like the Angular JS, HTML. Those all things can be clubbed with AS400 also. Got it, right?
Yeah.
So yes, the overview of the system, general awareness of how AS400 system work. Okay. So here, like in Java and other languages, we generally create a file like any notepad. When you save the notepad, it has been saved in your PC in the form of file, right? We call it as a
Yeah.
file. Any Excel we save or any notepad we save, it's been saved as a form of file. But here in AS400 we are saving anything in the form of object. Okay,
Object.
object, yes. Anything we create, uh, like the libraries and files and display files, print files, or the programs, we store it in a form of object. So everything, like let's suppose this is a RPGL program. Okay, so I've written everything. Okay, this all things I've written it, and then I want, like, I've written it. So the thing is how this framework is will know that what to execute. So it only um, executes object at the time of running. Okay, so we have to create an object for whatever thing we are writing. So all the source code, we have to create an object of it. So for thus the understanding purpose, you can assume that you can remember that AS400 works on object oriented programming. So whatever we create it as an object, not as a file, uh, like we do in Java. And object is a runnable entity in AS400. Hope you got it till this point.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Yeah. So generally, as it happens in other languages, why I'm comparing right now so that you can get a feel of it, how AS400 is different and where it is similar. So that's why
Okay.
I'm comparing Java, because in that way you will understand it better whenever you will be like talking to other peoples. They also compare it with Java. So you can Java and C++, you can pick it as a standard, and then we deviate it uh, in the left and right side of it so that we can uh, like relate what is similar and what are the advantage and disadvantages of this AS100. Okay, so generally, what we do with computer language, like what is the actual purpose, you can, if you can define what we do in AS400 when we talk about the, like, from the bigger eye, what we do from your point of view.
Uh, According, I think we said AS400 is working for banks and all those things, right?
Mhm.
So my guess is like it's like a storing, like it stores a large amount of data, like that, something.
Yeah, yes, it's storing the data. So talking from
Storing
this point of
and
view,
hmm
so we are processing the data. The processing
yeah,
the data is a, like, the more logical way of saying. So any
okay,
software has been designed just to process the data. Let's suppose your Facebook or Instagram. It is also processing the data. Like,
okay,
we feed a lot of people sign up, they put their photos and the posts, it process that and shows to the other people. So it's kind of processing the data. Okay, one person is like putting the data, and other is able to see that data. So it's kind of data processing only. But unless, like Instagram, it's just a storing and displaying it. We call it as, there's a term we use, CRUD, CRUD. CRUD means, okay, CRUD. Okay, so CRUD is the operation. C means create,
hmm
R means read, okay, U means update,
hmm
and D means delete. So this is the basic operation we do to process the data. Okay. So first we'll create the data, which means we'll input the data. In some of the time we'll be reading the data, we'll be updating whatever data is already created, or some of the time whatever data is of no use, we'll be deleting it. So CRUD is a, like, the basic operation we perform in our day-to-day life for any data. So any software do the is basically designed to do the CRUD operation in data. So how AS400 also doing the same thing. So it is,
creating, reading,
yeah.
updating, and
So
deleting.
yeah, CRUD, create, read, update, and delete.
hmm
So first of all, this display file. Let's suppose, like, I'll relate it with. Can you say something?
Yeah, yeah. I'm just listening. Sorry.
Okay. because I shared the screen there. I generally share the screen. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So let's suppose this PowerPoint is there. Okay. So this is the display of it. Okay. How how AS400 is working? I'm just giving you relating you to the basic PowerPoint. So these are the data. Okay, which I'm seeing from the input. Okay, this data, whatever I can see, is been there is some program like the whatever like space this installing the PowerPoint is been taking, that contains the code. Okay, if you are installing any software, it means it contains the code of that. Okay, and there is a storage of it. Okay, so whenever you are storing it, so that stores this data. So let's suppose you have a Google form. Let's take an example of Google form. Okay, so in the Google form, you see, uh, have you used Google form like
Yeah.
anytime before? Yes. So
Yeah.
when you open any Google form, in the front screen you see lot of data. Okay, lot of like the blank, what we can say, columns are there. Okay, let's suppose the name, roll number, your age, what is the mobile number, address, those kind of things. So that we called it as a display file, the front end. Okay, so front end is just for the interacting it with the user. Front end has been designed to just interact with the user. So just the first user just put the information there, the front. So display file is also designed to for the display purpose, first thing, or for taking the input from the user. Okay, so whenever you open a Google form, like already designed Google form, all the hard coded change, let's suppose that the title name, um, or the age, or the employee name, employee ID, employee roll number, those kind of things are there, right? So those things are already like the for the display purpose for the user, and the blank space is for the user to put some information. So whatever information he's putting, you can, like you have used it, that the Google, there are like 10 users, let's suppose, enter some value, and you can get all those value into an Excel. Okay, so you can suppose that Excel is your database. Okay, where you are actually storing the data. First of all, we'll be uh, like taking example of create. Okay, so what the create operation, what the three parties are involved. Okay, first the display file, which is a Google form. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and the Google form, like let me open it in a Google form. Okay, or you'll be able to, like without opening also
Yeah.
you'll be able to get that.
Yeah. I
So the
can. I
Google
can.
form, Google form is just a form which is having lot of data. Okay, and in the end result you have an Excel. Let's suppose we have the employee ID, employee number, the designation, and the year of experience. Those kind of fields are there in display file, which is in the Google form, and that is been stored in the form of in the Excel.
Tabular data.
Okay, tabular
Yeah.
format. In
Yeah.
the tabular format, you can also design that those all persons who have, like let's suppose you are doing the survey for a bank, and you want to filter it on the basis of like which people are having the like the use the debit card frequently in their day-to-day life, and those who are spending more than 10,000 in the debit card, you want the data for extract the data for that person. Okay, so let's suppose 50 people have filled the form, but in the Excel, without doing anything, you want that Excel to just display like in the pie chart form, or in uh, the bar forms, or those kind of like managerial uh, charts, in that way, that how many people are using like debit card, and their monthly expenditure is more than 10,000. So this logic you can put in a program. Okay, in
Mm-hmm.
Google form you cannot put it, but I'm giving you just an example. So this Excel, you will relate it to a database where all your data will be getting stored, and your front end where the user is like storing the data, that will be in the form of is a display file. And how to store the data, let's suppose if user has put the date of birth in a particular format, but you don't want slash to be stored in your database. You just want uh, because you want to keep the your database with as less special characters, because for display purpose also you'll be using the program. Okay, so in that case, the all those brain work where how the input data will be stored in the output, and again if that the data needs to be populated somewhere or it's to be printed somewhere, those logics will be writing in RPG programs. So there are only three sections of any computer programming language. Hope you got it till this point.
Yeah, I got it. So display and input all those, for example, Google Form,
Mhm,
and the after the data is updated, it will be showing in Excel.
mhm,
That is like storage.
mhm,
And finally, if we want to modify, like update the data,
mhm,
like removing unnecessary characters, or you want to make it a little bit more secure
mhm,
by adding some extra characters, those things can be
mhm.
done in the programming afterwards. That is in RPG, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
RPG, right?
Yeah, it's RPG only, and we generally the type we call it
Mm-hmm.
as RPG only.
Okay,
Okay, I'll give you a brief of what is the difference between RPG and RPG only. That will come later.
sure.
Okay, so okay, I'll brief you about these things like how the file structure are and how we write it. I'm just giving you uh, a little bit introduction of how the like we have the Excel the same way here we have PF, which we called it as physical file. Okay, so this physical file is something.
The physical file is a place where we store the data, right?
Yes, yes, yes,
Thank you.
yes. So you see, this is I've done a run query. This commands I'll brief you later. So as and go, I'm using it. I'll be giving you what is the purpose of it. So to just read any file, we do the run query. We write the command run qry and the this open and close bracket and then the input file. In that way, you'll be able to read any file. Okay. So you see that this is a table then related to the Excel. Okay, so it contains all the data: employee ID and employee number, employee ID and employee name. It stores what is the employee ID and what is the employee name we have given it. Okay, so it is storing those kind of data, and it has 210 columns in that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is a physical file. So physical. So if you'll do work object, as I say, everything is object here in AS400. Okay, so there has to be object of this physical file also. So this is a source of it. Okay, the this thing which you are seeing, it contains the source of that physical file. Source means how that file is looking like. That thing is been stored in the source of that physical file. Okay, we have one thing source and one thing data. Okay, data is what I have shown you. This thing, this is the data which is
Mm-hmm.
stored in that file. Okay,
Okay.
and
Data is a thing we'll get like out from the Excel form, right?
yes, yes, and
And the
how that
source file.
Excel will look like, how many column it will have, and
Mm-hmm.
what is the attribute of that columns, that we
Mm-hmm.
define it in the source, that how
So
many.
the source is a thing where we can define like the number should be 6 digits, and all should be in capital letters.
No, no, not these things.
Mm-hmm.
In the source we define like how many fields are there. Okay, in
Okay.
the in in that Excel, let's suppose, and what are the attribute of that field. So let the because employee ID, it's employee ID generally is in the form of number mostly. So we define it as decimal data. Okay, and employee name because name is in the form of um, character only. So we define the employee name is at in the form of character. So for now, you can say that only this thing, like how many columns will be there in the PF, that we define it in the source of that PF.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so like here, because uh, in the file you would have seen there are only two fields because I've not compiled this thing. This is having three, uh, what we can say, three fields. This employee D, employee name, and employee age. But I've not compiled it. That's why you're not able to see it. So you can have lot many doubts in the beginning, but as we will be going on discussing, all your doubts will be getting cleared. Okay, so you can
Sure.
be curious and you can like write if you want. You can write your doubts whenever you want, and we can clear it. Because right now, if I'll be like clearing your doubt, I'll be like I will be lagging in like completing the course. Okay, and it will be all the doubts will be self cleared. Okay, as and go, I'll be delivering the other classes. Okay, so this is a physical file. So physical file is the something where we store the data. Okay, and if you do work object, okay, and okay, so here this we call it as a command line where I'm
Okay.
writing anything. We call it as a command line. Okay, and there the good thing about this command line is whatever functions I want to do, it's just a short form of what the operation I want to perform. Okay, like I want to work with the object. Okay, so I'll use the command wrkobj. So whatever command is there, it will itself will be self-explanatory. You don't need to like mug up the things. It will be like related to your work only. Okay, it will be self-explanatory. And good thing about this command is if you didn't remember like what is the command, what was the command like wrkob, because work object is a like day to day use, there are some commands which we don't use and which we can forgot it. So what we do
Mm-hmm.
is you can type till the point where you remember. Let's suppose you only remember the w, there is some command which starting with w. What you can do, you can put w star, press enter, and then you'll be able to see what all commands will be is there in this the framework of AS400 starting with K. Okay, so this way there are a lot of commands, and in the free time you can like after we have done the setup, I'll give you like some of the assignments, but you have a lot of time, so I'll give you like the bigger assignments of searching the thing, and then you'll learn more. Okay, so the good thing
Okay.
about is after you do star, you'll be able to like let's suppose work O. So after WRKO, we have this many commands in this system. Okay, so this is a good thing about like as in Java, you will not get uh, this kind of functionality. So the work object and then INPU input file. So here you see that input file is there. Its type is a star file. Okay, because it's a physical file. So we have different types of object. So object, everything is object, but object is having lot of attribute and type. As you see, this input file is of attribute PF and it is having type star file. Okay, but if you will see test one, it is having of attribute RPGLE and it's of type star PGM. But all these things are object. Okay, this message queue, uh, device uh, description, all these things are object only in AS400. Hope it's clear till this point. Hello, you're there?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm
Okay,
listening.
yeah,
Sorry.
okay, yeah. So yes, this is the input file. So I'll give you what is library. We have a term called library in AS400. Okay, so if, like, let's suppose I'll give you what is library. So we where the all the data is been getting stored, that we call it as library. Okay, where we store all the data. So this data or source is also a kind of data only, right? So
Mm-hmm.
here when we do run query and input file, we see this kind of data, like it's stored in a physical file. But somewhere to create, to do any kind of coding or to create any physical file, we have to uh, create a source physical file also. So physical file can be of two types. One is a simple physical file which stores the data, and one is a source physical file which is this QDDSSRC. Okay, so if I'll do work object QDDSSRC, this is also a file which is of type PF, but it's a source physical file. It's not a physical file. When I'll do run query in QDDSSRC, you'll see that it displays the whatever data is there in as a source. You see, so this was the code which was there in when I've shown you the source of input file.
Yeah, yeah, I
Okay.
got it.
Mhm.
But every every simple physical file will have a source physical file as a copy. Yeah. Like I mean, for example, there's a file name XYZ.
Mhm.
There'll be a source physical file for that one also.
Yes, yes, yes. So no, it's not required because we have a
Mm-hmm.
flat file concept also. So like the physical file, any file which stores the data can be of two type. It can have a source also, which
Mm-hmm.
defines uh, where you'll define this thing, and it can be
Characteristics. Yeah.
without, yeah, it can be without source, like we call the concept of flat file, which is having only one field inside that. Okay, so it's fine, it's kind of notepad, because in notepad you don't have columns, right? You have a space and you write everything in that notepad.
Okay.
So we have a
And what
concept of flat file.
is that physical file called? Like a normal physical file?
It's a, so it's a physical file only, like we
Mm-hmm.
call it as flat file. This we call
Flat.
it as physical file, and that which are not having any source, we call it as flat file. So I'm just giving you, clarifying you, that physical file, it's necessary that physical file will be having its source defined, but when you do work object any flat file, it will be only having uh, like I've done the work object for source physical file and for the physical file, and by doing the work object, by just seeing the object, you will not able to see that it is a source physical file or physical file. The same way flat file also will be, like when you do work object any flat file, you'll be like here all only, because no flat file is there in my library. It will be also displaying in this manner. The object name is flat file, type is file, library is a, and the attribute is pf. So but when you will do from 8 and then service, here you see that it defines, like I've done the, I wanted to relate. I know where the object of that file is, and I wanted to check where the source of this file is. So this is the process which I've done to see. So here is, you see the source file in library here, but for the flat file, you'll not be able to see this because flat file don't have any source defined. It's just only one field inside a flat file, and which will be of length, bigger length of, let's suppose, 500 or something. Hope you got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So but yes, the every source physical every physical file will have the source. That is clear. Got it,
Okay.
right? Okay, yeah. Apart from that, yes, the physical file is there. So this physical file, when I do, it's there in one library. Okay, so library is something where we store all the data. Like sources is also a data, and the data which has been stored inside a physical file is also stored in any library. So when I do work object, I wanted to see all the objects which is there in SUSS 0121. Okay, so you see this is the library, and this all objects are there inside this library. Okay, so library is the place where we store the data.
Okay.
Hope you got it.
Test one, test two, all are like files or
Yeah, it's a program. This all are objects, but this object is of type PGM, star PGM, and its attribute is RPGLE. Inside this, we see that we have some display files also. So these
Mhm.
display files are of a type star file. It's object only, but there are types of object like star module type, star service program type, star file. So all the like the physical file, logical files, tables, alias, display files, and printer files. Those are of type file only, as you can star file. Hope you got it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. This is a PRTF, we call it as printer file. Okay. So this all are physical files. So everything has to be placed in a library. So library is where we actually store. It's kind of structuring the data, how we structure the data. So this is kind of structure we have defined. Okay. So edtlibl. This is the command to edit the library list. Okay. So
Okay.
whatever thing, let's suppose, current, no, okay. So as you can see, I've done the edit library, and I can see only QGPL, QTemp, and game S400 has been, it's there in my library list. Okay. So what is the use of library list? I'll show you. So let's suppose I've done work object and input input file. It is okay. Yeah, the input file is there in 2 only. Okay, let's delete this file.
Shant, one doubt.
Mhm, mhm,
So, correct me if I'm wrong. So
mhm.
initially there will be file, and file there will inside the file there will be a physical file, right?
Yeah,
And inside that only we'll have the data.
yes.
Oh, is that correct? Or I mean, in between I missed anything? Like,
No, no, nothing. So there is a physical file,
okay.
and physical
Hmm.
file is stored under a library, and that
Okay.
physical file contains the data. But
Okay.
physical file can be of multiple type. It can be of source physical file also, which will contain the source of any physical file.
Yeah.
Okay, it,
Simple source and flood files, right?
yes, simple source like this. You can see the source is there. So
Mm-hmm.
this source QDDS, this QDDS SRC is a source
Mm-hmm.
physical file which is there in this library, and inside that library we store multiple sources, and we call it as member.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
that's till this point.
Oh, there's one more thing called member.
Yeah, member thing is there. That I'll come to it, but like, well, I'll be discussing it. So
Okay.
after this, so we were, yes. So physical file is there. So I was discussing about the library thing. Okay. So whatever we store, we create an object, we create in library, right? So if you are
Mm-hmm.
performing any command, like I'm writing work object, okay, and inside that I want to search for any object with name input file. So what this system will do, it will search for this input file in the from the library list. Okay. So right now we have in the library, we have QRPG SRC, QTemp, and game S400. But this input file object I've created in the library SUSS 0121, right? But that
Mm-hmm.
library is not there in a library list. That's why
Okay.
when I do work object, it's saying that cannot find object to match the specific name. Means it is not able to find that object. Okay. So whatever command we are giving, this framework will search for that object in that in the predefined library list which is there in the system. Hope it's clear till this point.
Yeah.
Okay. But when you do so, after doing work object, okay, you can expand what are the features of this work object by just doing F4. So after I write work object, if I press F4, I'll be able to, this screen will be getting displayed.
Mm-hmm.
And it, like, there are two things. I can I can directly write work object and that file name, because I know that in the work, after the work object, this command, the first parameter is the name of the file. Okay. And if I do F4, this input file has been already written in this, the first position of this command work object. You see the input file is written over here.
Yeah.
And it is searching this file, this object in star libl. It means in the existing library list. Okay.
Okay.
But some of the time what happens, like we don't remember, as a newcomer, you are into the system and you don't know what all types of library are there. So what you'll do, you'll give the library as star all. So
Mm-hmm.
it will search this input file in all the library which exist in this AS400 system, in this server. Hope you got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I push star all, it will take time because this server is having less libraries. That's why we got the result. But when you'll be working in actual system, that time it will be a huge system, and you'll be having lot of libraries. So in that case, you will be like, the system will be taking time to display because it has to search for that object in all the libraries. But yes, there's a functionality which we use, which we can through which if you, even if we don't know the library name and that library is not there in the library list, then also we are able to search for that object. Hope you're clear till this point.
Okay. But we have to use the star in front of that library, like
Yes,
star library, star all.
star star all means it will be searching in all the library, in all the libraries which is there in this lpar, and star libl means it will be search in the library list.
Sure.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the edit library list command, and in this way we can, I can add the library sus only 0121. Okay. After, what's the name, sush. Okay. Library is
Mm-hmm.
changed. So this library, so now if I'll do work object inpu
Input
input
file.
file, now you see we are able to find because it's there in library list.
Mm-hmm. So the first
Okay.
thing you get is that item, right?
Yes.
Input file, right?
So
Okay, sure.
yes. So NPLINPU. So first it will search in QGPL, then it will search in QTEM, then it will search in GameS 400, and then it will search for SUSS 0121. Okay. So if it
Okay.
finds in like more than one number of times, it will display it all. So let's suppose I have I'm just copying that file into other library. Okay. So what I have done is, and I'm added the library list, and I'm adding SUSS 0122 also into the library list. Okay. And then I'll do work object INPU input file. It will show twice. So first it will find in one, and then it will find in two. But even that, the order it is being displayed, it's showing 122 first and then 121 second, because we have one new other concept which is called current library list. Okay, so let's
Oh,
suppose you are a user and you log in, and whatever thing you are doing it, like let's suppose I want to compile this program. Okay, so after I press 14 and okay, I press 14 and then I press F4. This this library is automatically filled. That one 14 means I want to create an object of that source, and which we called as compiling. Like creating a source of that object, it means it will be done by compiling that source. Hope you got it.
mhm.
Okay, so this, like we have to tell the program, like tell the subsystem that whenever I'll be compiling anything, there has to be some current library list where all the things will be getting done. If I'm not giving any library to perform any activity, there has to be one default library where I can perform all the activity. Okay, so that we called it as current library list, and the command to check the current library list is simple: dsp curlib, display current library. Yeah, chg. Yeah, so it's a change current library. To change the current library and work, do we have anything? ds dsp cur, let's see what the current directory. Okay, so you can change your current library list. You can work also with your current library. dsp display cg for change. Yeah, we have the command to display what is there in the current library list. But to change the current library list, we have the CHG for change, current lib is there. And if you press, you have to give the library name. Okay. So previously is what it was SUSH 0121. Okay. And even if edtlibl, and I'm removing this two library list from here. Okay, and I'll do work object input file. Even though this 20121 is not there in the library list, then also it is displaying because it is residing under the current library list. Hope you got it. This concept, whole concept.
Yeah,
Got it, right? So
yeah, got it.
it will first search for the current library and then whatever library has been defined in the library list. Okay, hope it's clear to you.
Mhm, mhm.
So it will first search for the current library, what is there in the current library list, not list, current library, and then it will search for what in all the
Rest of the things.
rest of the libraries. Okay, and that's how it will display in that order. So at 6:15, I'll, like in my class here today. So
Mhm.
tomorrow I'll discuss more.
Okay.
Like we have discussed the physical file. We'll discuss the the logical file, which is a new thing. Uh, Logical file. Then what is a member? What is multi-member? So we have joint logical files also. So based on the real environment scenarios, I'll explain one by one that what challenges we are facing. That like right now we have PF only. So we have a new concept called logical file. So what is the use of that, and what it adds the advantage over PF. So those kind of DB2 functionalities I'll be discussing tomorrow.